To begin phase 2, we'll look at a crucial movement to your rehab process following your ACL reconstruction, which is the squat. For the squat, the feet should be about shoulder width apart, and as you begin the squat, you're going to let your rear end lead the movement, meaning you'll unlock your hips and let your butt come back first. As you do this, you'll begin to bend your knees, loading the weight into your heels. Arms can come out for balance, and slowly lower. When you reach about 90 degrees, you return up to the starting position. This should be done slowed and controlled. Throughout the movement, the knees should not come in towards one another, nor should they progress over the top of your toes. Again, weight should be loaded into your heels. Let's take a look at this movement from a side position. You can see the knee stays in line without coming towards the other knee. The weight stays into the heel and the knee stays behind the toe. For squats, to begin with, you may start with 3 sets of 8 to 12, depending on your level of fatigue. In the beginning, you may experience shaking, which is a sign of weakness, which is okay as long as you're not experiencing any pain, specifically in the front aspect of your knee. Next, we'll take a look at calf raises or heel raises. To do this, you may perform these on the edge of a step. The subject will step up onto the step and come up onto the toes and then back down. This exercise is focused at strengthening the calf muscles. And as you can see, you're going to control the movement all the way up and all the way down to perform the calf raise. You should perform 3 sets of 8 to 12 calf raises until directed differently by your physical therapist. Next, we'll take a look at toe raises, which is the opposite of a calf raise. Now, the subject will pull his toes towards his nose and then let the toes lower back down. It's not a large movement, but it is effective at strengthening the front aspect of the lower leg. If you need to hang on for balance, that's perfectly acceptable. Just place yourself in a region that will allow you to do so. To begin with, you may start with 3 sets of 8 to 12, again, until your therapist directs you to increase your repetitions or increase your sets. If you have access to a stationary bicycle, this can be an excellent tool in your rehab process. When using the stationary bicycle, you'll get on the bicycle with the seat at a comfortable level, not causing pain in the knee and allowing you to go into a full revolution forwards. If you like to use the bicycle to improve your knee range of motion, you may slowly lower the seat, requiring an increased level of knee flexion or knee bend as you continue to lower the seat. As you'll see, as the subject gets back on the bike, he will now be required to bend his knee further to perform a full revolution while pedaling. To begin with, you may ride the bike 10 minutes a day at a moderate pace. Your therapist may adjust your intensity, frequency, or duration based on your therapeutic needs. Continuing to look at the core musculature, which we began strengthening in phase 1, we'll now look at a high plank versus a low plank. The main difference is that instead of coming onto the elbows, you'll be in full push-up position for this plank exercise. The subject will again come down into a push-up position with hands on the mat, elbows extended, and feet elevating the midsection of the body into the air. Again, the back and the butt remain flat, and if you experience V'ing, take a break and reset. 3 rounds of a minute total again should be achieved, using the same philosophy as previous. If you need to take a break, stop the clock and restart when you resume the plank. Next, we'll take a look at another core exercise, the side plank. We'll show a variation of side planks based on your level of fitness, beginning with a modified side plank. In the modified side plank, both the involved and the non-involved knee are bent to about 90 degrees, elbow on the mat, and then the lower aspect of the body is elevated into the air. You would aim to hold these for 3 times for a minute hold, and when you're unable to achieve 3 times for a minute hold, you may go into a regular plank variation. With the regular plank variation, the knees become straight. With the knees straight, you'll again lift the lower body up into the air and hold. Again, 3 times for a minute with the body straight without V'ing. If you cannot hold it for a straight minute, stop the clock, come down, take a rest, and then restart. Another variation you may try with the side plank is to go back into the modified side plank and add a clamshell exercise, coming up in this side plank, leaving the feet together, and then pulling the knees apart while the feet remain together. This exercise not only exercises the core, but also the hip musculature, which will be crucial in controlling valgus, stabilization of the knee, throughout your rehab process, or the knee from coming inwards. Next, we'll look at what we call an RDL. This motion is targeted at strengthening both the hamstrings and the gluteal muscles, or the muscles of the back part of your thigh and butt region. To do an RDL, your legs will remain stiff or straight throughout the motion. Our subject is choosing to use a kettlebell for his resistance. You may also use a regular barbell or any other weight that is appropriate for your level of rehab and fitness. Consult your therapist if you're unsure as to the weight you should use. To begin the movement, the subject will bend at the waist, keeping his back flat and straight. He will descend as far as he can until he feels a stretch through the hamstring musculature, at which point he will squeeze through his hamstring muscles, the back part of the thigh, and the rear end to return to the starting position. Let's take a look at the good form the subject is demonstrating as his back stays flat throughout the movement, and then squeezes the posterior muscles or the back muscles, including the back of the thigh and the rear end, to return to the starting position. 3 sets of 8 to 12 are appropriate to begin, and the weight should not be too heavy such that you cannot complete repetitions at least to 8. Next, we'll take a look at a movement called the bridge. To perform the bridge, both feet will be flat with the knees bent to the same level, approximately 90 degrees. Less than or more than 90 degrees is fine, as long as both feet are at the same level. At this point, the subject will push down through his heels to elevate his butt, coming to a completely flat position, and then return down to the starting position. The bridge targets the gluteal muscles or the muscles in the rear end and should be performed for 3 sets of 8 to 12. Resistance can be added as needed, but to begin with, start with the simple bridge movement. When you've mastered the bridge, you may move on to single leg bridges. With this movement, you'll combine both a bridge and a straight leg raise, which you performed in phase 1. Now, one leg will stay bent, in this case, the involved leg, while the non-involved leg will stay straight. The subject will tighten the non-involved leg at this juncture in the quad, and with the quad remaining tight, he will push down through the involved heel to lift his rear end and maintain the straight leg raise position, and then return to the starting position. This exercise can be done on both sides by simply switching the position of the legs. Now, the involved leg is down and will perform a straight leg raise, while the non-involved leg will perform the bridge. It's crucial to maintain the tight quad in good form. 3 sets of 8 to 12 are appropriate on each side. Let's look at an exercise called the V-up, targeted at strengthening the abdominal and core musculature. To perform the V-up, both legs will stay straight as well as both arms. At this point, the patient will lift his legs and bring the arms towards the legs, making a letter V. We'll take a look at this from the side as well. The quads are pretty tight during this exercise to keep the legs straight, and you're going to lift your body to touch your legs with your hands. The tighter your hamstrings or the back of the leg, the less motion we may see during this exercise. To begin, 3 sets to 8 to 12 are appropriate. Next, we'll take a look at an exercise called 4-way hip bands. Also could be deemed as standing straight leg raises in 4 directions we worked on earlier. For this exercise, you'll place either the bad or the good leg in the band. As you can see, our subject here has the band down just above the ankle at this point. Your therapist will provide this band for you. Once you've done this, you're going to engage the quadrant muscle by flexing the front thigh muscle, keeping your leg straight, and then slowly bring your leg forward while balancing on the opposite leg. You're going to perform this task in 4 different directions, taking quarter turns each time to change directions. Now the subject will pull across their body, tightening the thigh muscle and pulling in front. He'll take another quarter turn, tighten his quad muscle to keep the leg straight, and now pull backwards. Notice the subject is not doing a maneuver what we would call a teapot, meaning he is not bending forward like he's demonstrating now while performing the exercise, but rather his body is remaining erect and the leg or hip is doing the majority of the work. He'll take one more quarter turn, and now he'll pull away from his body. This exercise should be done both on your involved and your non-involved leg, as the leg that you're standing on will do just as much work as the leg that's in the band, as it helps to maintain your balance. To begin, if you need to hang on to something to maintain your balance, that is okay, but try and provide minimal assistance to maintain your balance. You'll perform 3 sets of 10 reps in each direction.